Mr. Secretary, in your opening statement, you spoke to the issue of cutting waste and abuse at the Pentagon. I assume you intend to do that. Is that correct? Yes? No?
We have done that, sir.
All right. And therefore, it must be your responsibility. I want to bring to your attention a statement that the President made in early February. He said, "There is no reason for us to be building brand new nuclear weapons. We already have so many. You could destroy the world 50 times over, 100 times over. And here we are building new nuclear weapons. And they're building new nuclear weapons. We're all spending a lot of money that we could spend on other things that are actually, hopefully, much more productive." So I'd like to focus for a few moments on one of the most expensive programs at the Department of Defense, the Sentinel ICBM, which is to replace the Minuteman III. The cost of this program has exploded from $78 billion to over $141 billion, not including a new nuclear bomb for the Sentinel and the command and control systems, which would add somewhere $20 to $40 billion. All the while, we have a Minuteman III that can continue to provide the ground leg of the triad for at least 10 to 15 more years. Should we cut the Sentinel program?
Well, President Trump is correct to point out that proliferation is very dangerous, but he has also, in his budget, ensured we fully fund the nuclear triad, every aspect of it, in a historic way. The Sentinel, as one leg of it, and that modernization is critically important. As you know, it faces a Nunn-McCurdy breach for being behind, and as a result, it has to be reviewed, but it's incredibly important. And so our budget does look at ensuring to...
Excuse me, sir. So you have made a decision to continue even though the review is incomplete?
The review is ongoing. The investments we've made allow us to continue should the review come out the way we hope it does.
You continue the Sentinel program even though the Nunn-McCurdy review is incomplete. I'd like now to move over to Ukraine. The chairman of this committee spoke very strongly about the Ukraine situation. And the necessity of the United States being strong in support of Ukraine. It's very, very clear that a review of what Mr. Putin has said over the last 2 decades, that he is determined to reestablish the Soviet empire, and Ukraine is the current step to achieve that. Ukraine's security is our security, my view, and what is dangerous for Ukraine will be dangerous for NATO and therefore dangerous to the United States. Yesterday, 2 days ago, in response to Senator McConnell, who asked, which side of the Ukraine conflict do you want to win? And you said, the president is committed to peace in that conflict. Ultimately, peace serves our national interest, and we think it serves the interest of both parties, even though that outcome will not be preferable to many in this room, at that time the Senate, and I would also say this room too, preferable to many in this room and many in our countries. Mr. Secretary, when you said that peace serves our national interest, does that peace come from a complete surrender of Ukraine and total victory for Russia?
That's never been a characterization of my statement, sir. We think peace is in the best interest, but I would point out, Ukraine is not the U.S. and Ukraine is not in NATO, and to draw that comparison is to draw one that is not correct. But we hope for peace. We believe peace is in the best interest of the United States of America, and our policies are pointing toward that.
Well, let me go back to what I asked you. Is that peace, could the achievement of that peace through the complete surrender of Ukraine and the withdrawal of U.S. support for Ukraine, is that a worthy peace, and is that peace in the long-term and actually the short-term interest of the United States?
If you look at the billions of dollars that have been invested in Ukraine, you could hardly characterize that as a surrender from the United States. So the existing military front line of troops is as difficult as it is, moving slowly. Where peace ends at the end of that, nobody really knows. But the president has worked harder than anybody else to try to get a peaceful outcome of it.
Gentleman's time's expired. Chair, and I recognize the
The
gentleman.
hearing began with a sharp exchange over Pentagon waste and the spiraling cost of the Sentinel ICBM program. Originally estimated at $78 billion, the replacement for the Minuteman II missiles is now projected to cost more than $141 billion, and that is before factoring in new warheads and command systems, which could add another $20 to $40 billion. Critics argue the current Minuteman II system could last another decade or more, potentially saving billions. Why it matters? This raises big questions about nuclear modernization priorities versus other pressing defense and domestic needs. If you want clear breakdowns of complex defense issues like this, hit subscribe so you do not miss our next update. The administration has decided to keep funding the Sentinel program, even before an official review is complete. The Pentagon says modernization is critically important for maintaining the nuclear triad, America's land, air, and sea-based nuclear deterrent. But watchdogs note that this is one of the largest cost overruns in recent defense history. Why it matters? The decision reflects a broader debate about whether deterrent spending is keeping America safe or draining resources from other priorities. Stay informed. Subscribe so you can follow the money and the policy debates shaping our security future. The hearing then shifted to Ukraine. Lawmakers pressed the Defense Secretary on comments that peace serves our national interest, asking if that meant accepting a Russian victory or Ukraine's total surrender. The Secretary pushed back, insisting U.S. aid, in the billions, proves Washington has not abandoned Kyiv, but also noting Ukraine is not in NATO. The bottom line, the administration hopes for peace, but is leaving the definition of that peace open-ended. Why it matters. This gets to the heart of U.S. foreign policy. How far America should go to support Ukraine, and what compromises, if any, it is willing to accept. If you want fact-based updates on the Ukraine war and U.S. policy, subscribe so you are always ahead of the headlines.